Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about Italian philosopher Giorgio Agamben's theory of Homo Sacer. Before discussing the concept of Homo Sacer, it becomes imperative to talk about the theory of biopolitics as forwarded by Michel Foucault. Michel Foucault, in his book The History of Sexuality, has talked about biopower or biopolitics, by which he means the art of managing people by a government. Now, during the times of kings and queens, during the sovereign era, the king was the ultimate person who had the authority to make laws or to punish someone who refuses to abide by those laws. Foucault describes this sovereign ruling as a formula: make, die, let live. Make, die, let live. The sovereign can impose any law or punish whom he likes. He can make anyone die without asking for any clarification. Or alternatively, he can grace life and people can live. During the 18th century onwards, sovereign system went away and in that place came a systematic and politically arranged group of leaders who now run the country and is called the government. The theory is now inversed. Now the theory stands like make live, let die. Make live, let die. Let us take an example. The government provides facilities to its people so that it can live. If it decides to keep a man alive, then he or she can be sent to coma and can live for a few more days. If the government decides not to provide life, then he or she can be taken out of the hospital and can die in a minute. And now this is a rather naive example. The aim of the government is to produce life, to regulate life and make it more efficient. The government governs and organizes population in two different ways: by management of human beings and regulation of human beings. Number one, the management. Number two, the regulation. By management, I mean training, schooling, healthcare facilities to make more efficient labor. By regulation, I mean birth control, health facilities, and shaping individual actions, habits, customs, so that people abide by the rules, people abide by the logic of the state, and people make the territory. So the art of governing is conducted upon population and it employs techniques through which the government can control. And this is exactly what biopolitics stands for. Or to put it in another way, the government controls its people within its territory through its sets of managing principles, through its set of managing procedures. And this is what biopolitics. The government promotes something and tries to restrict some things that it doesn't like or that's not acceptable in the country. Agamben thinks that biopolitics contains the traces of the old Roman Homo Sacer law. Before going into Homo Sacer, the Greek concepts of zoo and bios need to be discussed. Zoo refers to the mere physical survival of a human being. Like any animal, zoo includes the labor required for biological reproduction, domestic labor. In total, the labor required to sustain a biological life. Women, slaves, children fall in this category. Bios is the sphere of politics. It is a fulfilling way of life in society. Homo Sacer is the one who cannot be sacrificed for any good cause, yet he is the one who can be killed by anyone without the fear of any punishment. Homo Sacer is outside the realm of law. Rules and regulations of a country will not protect a Homo Sacer. A sacer or sacredness stands here differently. The sacer or sacredness makes him or places him outside law and order. This sacredness is the zoo, the bare life, the fact of being alive and nothing more. This is similar to the sovereign system, and this is what Agamben is trying to say. The production of bare life is the originary activity of sovereignty. Now the law needs an outsider, an external element, so as to constitute its internal premise. By assigning someone as the Homo Sacer, the law constitutes its population upon which it can function. So it can show, so these are the outsiders. That means this is my inside. Let us take an example. If we consider Edward Said, then the Orient is the other, and by making this other, the West has expressed its superiority. Or if we take a literary example, in Shakespeare's Tempest, Caliban is the insolent and primitive, so as to make Prospero appear more civilized and wise. Here, Agamben is trying to make a similar kind of statement. The sovereign is the one who can determine the state of exception. However, the paradox of sovereignty is that the sovereign, like the Homo Sacer or the Homo Sacer, is both outside and inside the judicial order. Because the Homo Sacer in us is unprotected by law, the sovereign can become violent on the Homo Sacer. In this context, the views of Carl Schmitt becomes irrelevant. He has tried to define the characteristics of a true and perfect sovereign. In a perfect sovereign system, the decision of the sovereign leader, the decision of the sovereign is not influenced by myths, beliefs, morals, or any other restrictions. His decisions are the pure decisions, and Schmitt's preferred or ideal state is decisionist in nature. He was averse to liberal state because according to him, liberalism had introduced certain restrictions upon the sovereign. Now he was a Nazi member, and all these ideas are believed to have arisen from his love and devotion to the Nazi party. But Smith is important to analyze how the sovereign might become violent, aggressive upon the Homo Sacer. Let us take real life examples. Think about refugees, war prisoners, terrorists. If you kill a person who is labeled as a terrorist, will you be put in prison? He is also a human. America has detained the Al-Qaeda convicts at Guantanamo Bay prison in Cuba, where human rights are altogether neglected. Think about the condition of refugees worldwide, asylum dwellers. They have no legal status and they cannot appeal to any authority if their human rights are violated. They are non-persons. The sovereign has become hostile and aggressive upon them. There is no one to mold the character, the behavior of the sovereign, and thus the sovereign at times become violent upon these Homo Sacers. Bare life has no right. Bare life, so has no human right. Social networking sites have given rise to a phenomenon called the Godwin's law. It says that every heated conversation in social media always ends in one person accusing the other as Nazi. Agamben has also reached the same spot. Agamben considers the Jews in German concentration camps as Homo Sacer. The dimension in which the extermination took place is neither religion nor law, but biopolitics. The camp is the most absolute biopolitical space ever to have realized. Now, what is biopolitics? Let's have a quick recap. It is the organization and management of people living in a country. Now, the camp is included in the German political system through its exclusion from the German law and order. The camp is included in the German political sphere at the cost of removing law and order over its head. Agamben is trying to analyze how, having this perfect governments, we are still witnessing horrific events of inhumanity. There are various international examples of sovereign becoming aggressive or all-engulfing with their totalitarian attitude and decisionist nature. Okay, thank you everyone. In the next video, I will come with Derrida's paper Structure, Sign and Play in the Discourse of Human Sciences. Thank you.